Hello, my dear students. How are you all? I'm sure you must be doing very great at your homes and you are safe. Now, in today's class, we are going to understand and revise the concepts which are required to solve the questions from the 5-year papers. And I have just tried to make this worksheet to revise your concepts. So, let us begin with the discussion of compounds. Chemically or in chemistry, what we need to understand and to define a compound. Compound are those chemical substances in which two or more than two elements are combined chemically in a fixed ratio by mass. And when chemical elements combine and they behave or they undergo a chemical change and they make something new, and that new stuff is a compound, and a compound has its own characteristic properties irrespective of its combining elements, and whenever elements combine chemically they behave in a fixed manner, means they mix in a fixed ratio of by mass. So let us begin with the MCQ discussion. The first MCQ is, which gas is neither an element nor a compound? So first you need to know what elements are, what compounds are, then you will be able to recognize about that species which is neither element nor a compound. Listen class, whenever you cover some definition or whenever you understand or learn some definition, you need to get 2 or 3 very common examples with it. Like in case of ammonia, you must be very clear in its formula that ammonia is a compound of nitrogen and hydrogen in 1:3 ratio. About the chlorine, you have studied it many times in the formation of sodium chloride. Chlorine is a non-metal and it is often found in diatomic molecules. Again, this is an element because it is composed of identical atoms or same atoms. Now we see about the carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is again a chemical compound of carbon and oxygen in 1:2 fixed ratio. So there is only one example given which is often used to define mixture, that is air. Okay, the next MCQ, which list contains an element, a compound and a mixture? Again, all the options are taken from 3 different categories. You have to select the option which is with one element, one compound and at least one mixture. So you see option A, air is a mixture, copper is an element. Yes, it's a metal. It's a very good conductor of electricity. And when we see soil, soil is also a mixture. So in option A, 2 of the mixtures are given. In option B, air is a mixture, pure water is a compound. Pure water, what do you mean by pure? Pure means only H2O. And sodium chloride is another example of a compound. In this, sodium is bonded to chlorine. Yes, it's a well-known ionic compound. It's a rock salt or table salt. Option C, copper element, soil mixture, pure water compound. Okay, before being too quick about the selection of the correct answer, just go through all the options. Tap water is a mixture, soil is a mixture and sodium chloride is a compound. So in options D, there is no element given. So only option C is giving you one element, one compound and one mixture. The next is, Which substance can conduct electricity by movement of ions? Obviously, when electrolysis is conducted, the chemical substance which has ions, only that substance can be able to conduct electricity through movement of ions, because the hint is given there are ions, and ions are formed in the case of only ionic compounds. So I gave you a very common and well-known example just in the previous MCQs. Select the right answer for you. The next is, what is the structure of sand? Sand is a macromolecule. When you cover this topic, you have to learn two examples to show macromolecules. One is diamond and the other is graphite. These are the elemental macromolecules, and you see the sand is SiO2, silicon dioxide, which are tetrahedral molecules are arranged to form the macro structure, to form a giant structure. So you have to learn this also. The last one is, which compound contains 3 elements? To select the correct answer, I advise you to go through the chemical formula of all these substances. If you will be able to write the chemical formula, then only you can select the correct answer. Like the first is, and the chemical formulas are always written with the help of or by following crisscross formula. By writing the formula of or the chemical symbol of elements, cations and anions, then writing their valencies, and then the last step you cross multiply their valencies to get the final chemical formula. So I know the aluminum chloride has aluminum metal and chlorine element. Step number 1. Then I know that aluminum is trivalent. It shows +3 oxidation state or valency because it is in group 3, and chlorine belongs to group 7A, so it shows -1 oxidation state because it has 7 electrons in its valence shell and it needs to get only 1 more electron to complete its octet, so it receives electron forming -1 charge on it. So when we, in third step, when we crisscross their oxidation state, this 3 comes here and this 1 comes here as a lower script of aluminum. So finally the valencies are written as Al1Cl3 1. So the formula goes AlCl3. The next step, you just try to write the formula yourself. Iron oxide, iron Fe oxide. Okay, you just check it out. The next is potassium oxide. The potassium is K and oxide is O. And when we crisscross the valencies, we get the formula K2O. The next is sodium carbonate. Sodium is Na, carbonate is CO3. So when we crisscross the valencies, we get the formula Na2CO3. Now after seeing or watching all of the chemical formulas, just select the right answer yourself. The question is, which compound contains 3 elements? Now this is your turn. Now the theory section is again a blend of questions from so many chapters. Means you cannot write the answers for such questions from any single chapter from the textbook. You see what are the hints given. The hints are very familiar and they are discussed in very detail whenever the chapter is discussing some special topic. But you have to memorize each and every important steps which is shown in the textbook to explain any topic. For example, you are given so many compounds and you have to select one compound as the answer of each statement. and this is a hint that you can use one option more than one time. Okay, but this is not compulsory in all states, in all options. Okay, so we see the first part is, which compound is an amphoteric pollutant formed by lightning activity? This chapter is related to environmental chemistry, in which so many pollutants are discussed, and the only pollutant which is formed due to lightning activity, due to a natural activity, is, yes, it's none other than nitrogen oxide, because nitrogen is present in bulk in air. Whenever there is some lightning activity, nitrogen gets oxidized and it is produced as a pollutant. The next is, which is the main constituent of natural gas? When you study enough about organic compounds, you come to know that organic compounds are obtained or purified or extracted from fossil fuels, and natural gas is one of them, and natural gas is mostly methane. So here it is. Then, dissolve in water. Which compound is dissolved in water to form an aqueous solution which gives a white precipitate on addition of aqueous sodium sulfate? Okay, this is a tricky one, but don't get scared of this question, because when you study the chapter salts, you come to know that there are certain chemicals which combine to form insoluble solid products which are called as a precipitate. So you just go through the equation between sodium sulfate and barium nitrate. So aqueous sodium sulfate is here, and from the options you have to select barium nitrate, which will be forming barium sulfate as the white precipitate. So it is how you put a downward arrow for this. Okay, here you see dash is a catalyst, means which compound is a catalyst in the contact process for the manufacture of sulfuric acid. The hint is also there, because contact process is the industrial manufacturing process of H2SO4, sulfuric acid, the king of compounds. And the catalyst is, yes, selected from the option, that is vanadium pentoxide. Okay, the last question is here. Dash is a product of thermal decomposition of limestone. You know what is limestone? Limestone is CaCO3, calcium carbonate, and we heat this calcium carbonate, it decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So out of these two compounds, compound number 1 and compound number 2, just see which compound is given as an option. Yes, I can see it. It is here, calcium oxide. So class, I have tried to revise you many concepts by using this discussion. Now it's your time to collect all the small things or all the conceptual facts by reading the textbook and by going through the 5-year papers to solve this worksheet as your test. Okay class, thank you. See you in the next worksheet. I will come again to help you in solving your assignments. Thank you. Just try it, and whenever you get some difficulty, you can ask me. Thank you. God bless you. Take care.